For 8 weeks, the question has been, when will Mick Claridge's winning streak come to an end? We got our answer last time out at Suzuka, where Claridge broke down and Michel Dudagnon took home the checkers. For this week, we have a new question, and that's who can survive and come out on top with a unique opportunity here as the Grand Prix Legends Series gears up for its one and only oval race of the season at Michigan. It's time to find out who's going to bring home that checkered flag. Welcome everyone to today's coverage of round 9 of the season here live on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hello everyone, I'm Samuel Ryman, and alongside me in the booth is Ryan Walker. Behind the scenes is our director Sean Ambrose, and he is using camera sets provided by Dougie Beard. This Grand Prix Legends season is 12 races long, featuring 11 races on road courses, with today's event being the exception. But just like with road courses, no two oval tracks are the same. Let's get a closer look at Michigan with our GSRC lap guide.
Welcome to the Michigan International Speedway. This 2-mile D-shaped oval located in the beautiful Irish hills of southern Michigan, sitting about an hour and a half's drive to the southwest of Detroit along I-94, right in the backyard of Chevrolet and Ford. When you're that close to Detroit Power, your speedway better live up to the hype. 18-degree banked corners with a 12-degree banked front stretch allow for maximum power and lots of action. The higher downforce Indy cars were able to put on spectacular shows of driver bravery and talent. In recent years, it's played host to mostly the tin top cars, as the NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, Gander Truck, and even ARCA Series have all hosted events here in the last decade. Michigan is a wide, sweeping oval, but it isn't harmless. The lowest groove of the corners near the bottom can be your very best friend in the IndyCar, but your worst enemy in the tin tops. Cars will frequently get loose that far down the track, causing chaos for the pack behind. Michigan is all about speed and lots of it. Often the drivers that find the most success here are the ones willing to experiment around the track and find grip their competitors haven't. The facility in recent years has doubled down on fan comfort as well, giving more elbow room, redoing seats, camping areas, even providing Wi-Fi to watch all of these live broadcasts in the grandstands of all the sections. All in all, Michigan has become a staple of American motorsports since it opened in 1968. Fans and drivers both always look forward to when the schedules come back to the beautiful Irish hills of southern Michigan. Fast speeds, high action, it's all here at Michigan International Speedway, where it's your speed.
So as you can see from our GSRC track guide, we have all different kinds of cars have raced here at the Oval in the past, but this is definitely still going to be a unique race. Ryan, here's our track details. Let's take a tour around.
Yeah, absolutely. Today these cars will be racing around this fantastic Michigan International Speedway. And yeah, the track's quite famous. It's famous most of all for running NASCAR races. But the Lotus 49s, like I say, will be racing here, and with it being an oval race, there's going to be a different mindset being used. Normally in road races, you'd see people trying to make moves early, but I think with it being an oval race, don't be surprised if you see drivers maybe taking it a little bit more easy in the early stages of the race, and especially with Corson's being disabled as well, as far as I'm aware. I think that could be playing into the mindset of these drivers. And yep, the track is 2 miles in length for 3.21 kilometres if you prefer to use that. And with these Lotus 49s not having any, well, not any downforce at all, I think the racing is going to be fantastic today.
Yeah, and to confirm, there are no cautions. There's definitely one curveball being thrown at this race. Well, the drivers that we'll see up front might be a bit different than normal, but let's give you an idea of how the points standings are after the opening the opening 8 of 12 rounds of the season. Drop weeks are going to start being a factor now. Mick Claridge holds a handy 45-point lead, to be expected, with the fact that he's won all of the races bar one. There we go. Topi is sitting there second in the points over Trantere, about 20 points back of him. And those three have a massive gap over Michel Dudagnon, who is the driver who broke Mick Claridge's win streak at Suzuka. But of course, Michel hasn't been here all season, so he might not necessarily be competing for the championship. Gary Teal also makes the graphic. Ryan, let's take a look at our F2 standings.
The F2 Championship still really close at the moment. That's been led by Finland's Jani Lehmann, but he's not too far behind, only 24 points back, is Dave Cohen from the United States, with Robert Plumley having a good season, rounded out the top 3. Andrew M from the United States is in 4th, and rounded out the top 5 is Will McDonald, another driver from the United States. But at the moment, it looks like in the F2 Championship, it's a 2-horse race.
And one more points graphic to bring up for you, and that of course is a Nations Cup. Much like Mick Claridge has been dominating the drivers' standings all season long, he has brought the UK flag with him to the top of the Nations Cup standings. However, of course, I think you've got to keep your eyes on the US there in 3rd place, considering this is an oval race. Oval courses, a bit more regular stomping grounds for US drivers. And we'll see if maybe they can move on by Finland and up into 2nd. One more graphic to pull up for you before we get into the qualifying action. Brian, let's take a look at our race details.
So the race details today, this is the 9th round of the 12-round season, so as we're getting towards the end of the season, it's, you'd think we only started the season yesterday, so it's gone by quite quickly. The race length for today is at 51 laps, and a standing start as well, as far as I'm aware it's a standing start, but the setup is open, and the incident limits today, as always, at 17x will equal a penalty, and if you get to 25x or over, you will be automatically disqualified from the race. So maybe these drivers are going to have to think about the incident limit, especially around this oval, which is can be quite tricky.
Well, we're watching Anti drive around here. Now, of course, we're going to see different names today. We're also going to see different numbers on the car. For example, Mick Claridge isn't the number 1 or the number 2 car for once. He's the number 6. The number 1 car is actually Connor Babel, but he has not turned a lap in qualifying. He is out on the track, but he's not going to have enough time to turn a lap before the checkered flies. So Bill Tyler in the number 17 car looks like he'll be starting on pole position for this race. No, our graphic says it's a standing start. My impression would be that they're going to do a rolling start here, but to be honest, I don't know for sure. There haven't really been a whole lot of races going on this week. Participation has been a bit down during the actual racing week here on iRacing. These road drivers, road regular series, not necessarily always fans of oval racing. But that being said, we've still got a good turnout here today of 29 cars. Hopefully should still be in for a good race.
Yep, absolutely. As we're just about to head over to the grid as well right now, Sam.
Yep, and sure enough, we do have a pace car out there, so it will be one pace lap and then we'll go racing. Bill Tyler will be leading them off from pole position ahead of Andre. Points leader Mick Claridge will be looking to resume his winning streaks from 3rd position on the grid. Colin Bentley will be starting from 4th ahead of Rob Olyanek and Dave Price making up row number 3. Michel Dudagnon, coming off his win at Suzuka, will be starting from 7th position ahead of Laust Olsen. Topi Kortenemi will be starting from 9th place. John Olsen rounding out the top 10.
Starting in 11th is Chris Marikami with Randy Huff alongside him in 12th. Sean Campbell lines up in 13th with 14th Rodney Evans, Emmanuel Pereira in 15th with Antti Kerinen in 16th, Bruce Nelson 17th, 18th is Robert Plumley, Dave Cohen 2nd in the F2 Championship in 19th, and round out the top 20 is Gary Teal.
In our 3rd and final page here, we have Roland Walbank rolling off from 21st position ahead of Matthew Maudsley. Hayden Carter will start 13th ahead of Eugenio Massa. John Sheehan will start from 25th place ahead of Kyle Graham. Paul Nicholson, 27th. And that's nice to see 27 of our 29 starters turning a lap in qualifying, so these drivers want to get up towards the front. The number 1 car of Connor Babel and the number 4 car of Robert Reynolds are the only 2 that did not turn the time. all 29 drivers are in the session, but since we have such a variety in location here, I've noticed a few drivers that have high pins, and that's kind of a measure of their connection strength, quality of their connection to the server. And so that could be a concern. You know, we definitely don't want to have netcode with all the cars packed together like this. The number 23 of Rodney Evans from the Virginias registering a pin of over 2,000 right now. So hopefully that will be sorted for him before too long.
Yeah, absolutely. As the cars set off on the rolling lap, and one thing to note as well, as soon as the safety car goes in, the leader dictates the pace and can go whenever he wants, just as long as he doesn't pass the safety car. Otherwise, you'll get a drive-through penalty or a stop and hold, I believe.
Yeah, and that will be Bill Tyler, our pole sitter in the number 17 machine. He's got a white car with blue stripes. There's some nice looking liveries out here. Liveries that we don't always see in this series. You know, drivers who may be a bit more oval course specialists coming out for the fun hit here today at Michigan. And Bill Tyler will have to control the field from the inside. Now, I've got to say, I've been doing a few laps in practice. I don't think anyone has really seen what this race is going to be like when you put all 30 cars on the tracks together. But I think the High Line is going to be the place where you want to be. We can see maybe the drivers will prove me wrong very quickly. But I have a feeling if Bill Tyler's able to clear over Trentray, getting into the first corner, we might see him try and take away that High Line. You see there's 5 different seams around this Michigan circuit. The drivers will be using those to try and work out where to place their cars. The pace car makes a hard left turn. The field is under the control of Bill Tyler, who is already on the loud pedal and pulling them away. 29 cars for 51 laps of caution-free racing here at Michigan.
Yep, as they head down to turn 1, and Tyler got a great start. He caught everyone behind Nappin, and it looks like they've been relatively clean so far. Everyone's, I wouldn't say taking it easy, but they're leaving each other just enough room as they make it through turn 1. And this is when the slipstream and battles will start to commence.
And Bill Tyler still leading the field as they head off into turn 3. It looks like most of them have been clear now. The drivers who are up here towards the wall right now, they've got to be careful they don't overdrive it too much. It's very easy to tag a wall by doing that. And here we go, a lead change as they're going down the front straight. That's Mick Claridge in the number 6, taking away the top spot. And sure enough, Rodney Evans in the 23 has lost the connection, so we're down to 28 cars.
Yep, as they complete the first lap now, and like you say, Claridge takes the lead with Tyler trying to slip into second, but right behind him he's got Obi Trengrade and Rob Olenek right behind him. Yes, so Bill Tyler fading back a little bit. He does have a number 17 car, and one change that's happened recently in iRacing is these road course events that are at oval courses. Their numbers are now based on their oval iRating rather than their road course iRating. So they're coming around to complete lap 2. This is a lap-based race. We'll get that graphic fixed in a moment. But another change up front as Mick Claridge fades back to second place, and Rob Olenek looking for the lead. Yep, and this pack is still really close together, and you can't really separate them, but it looks like Claridge has got the run again and is going to try and make the move. Yeah, he's going to sit behind Rob Olenek. So a lot of dicing up front right now. Drivers getting runs on each other and taking away the top spot. Again, though, they haven't really done this week. We haven't had all 30 cars out there. 30 cars out there on track together, so I really don't know if they're going to be able to keep this up for the whole 51 lap race, or if the things will start to change, if the tyres will start to wear based on how the race progresses. But right now, Rob Olenek is definitely in the position where all the other drivers would like to be. 12 cars have kind of broken away in the first pack. Yep, absolutely, and they're still jockeying for position, but it's still at the moment. I was going to say Claridge leading this race, but Claridge is in second. It's Olenek currently leading the race as they're coming across the line now to complete another lap. Yeah, so there from our aerial shot, you saw those 12 cars in that lead pack. We're now with a new leader. Once again, Mick Claridge going up to the point. So the top 4 kind of single file, they're a little bit punched up from 5th on back.
leading the pack from 13th is a very lively coloured number 9 car of Emmanuel Pereira. We'll see if he's able to run the top 12 down. But right now, Rob Olyanek and Mick Claridge just continuing to kind of leapfrog each other. I guess they're trying to make the most of a draft and make a lead pack go as fast as it can. Bill Tyler was worried he was dropping back at the start of a race, but he seems to be holding on strong there in 3rd position.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Bill's kind of just realised that it's a long race, 51 laps, especially on an oval, and he's just decided just hang back a little bit and see what these guys get up to. But as Connor Babel puts in the fastest lap of the race so far, but riding on board with Tyler currently in 3rd place, and he's just watching what these guys getting up to. He's not going to try anything silly or try and make a silly move. But as I say that, it looks like Rob Olyanek is trying to make a move on the inside of Claridge as they go side by side, and these guys are just leaving each other just enough room as Claridge drifts wide ever so slightly towards the wall, but manages to keep out of it.
But one driver who was not able to keep out of it was Ove Trantere. He did get up into the wall in turns 3 and 4. He overdrove turn 3. You do have to lift, you do have to slow down for these corners. Ove went in too fast and got the wall. He's lost a lot of track position, but I think he's gotten away with minimal damage. You talk about the number 1 of Connor Babel turning a fast lap time. He has worked his way all the way up into 15th place after starting the back of his grid. This driver's on the mission.
Yeah, absolutely. He's absolutely getting through the field at a rapid rate of knots, but at the moment he can't really make any more positions because he gets a good exit on the exit of the final corner, but he can't do anything because the cars in front of him they slowed up a little bit.
We continue in to see the lead change up front. It's Rob. Oh, we got one driver down on the apron there on the front straight. I think he's gathered it up.
Oh, Mick Claridge is slowing.
Oh, let's see if we can work out what that's all about. He's just pulling down there. I wonder if he just felt uncomfortable. He's learned what he's going to learn and realizes, hey, I don't need to be in this hornet's nest right now. Maybe just fading back to the back of the front pack. So that means he'll stop trading the lead with Rob Olyanek, and Rob Olyanek has it all to himself for a little while.
Yeah, Rob Olyanek in the perfect position at the moment, but as we all know, in an oval race, you can be at the front, but the pack behind you can use that slipstream to their advantage to get by you. And Bill Tyler at the moment in 2nd place, but the surprise for me so far in this race is Dave Price up in 3rd place.
Yeah, I was just about to make a note of him because we've well documented the top 2 so far, but it's Dave Price who's holding his own in 3rd place right now. He has a number 13 car. Remember, that's based on overall iRacing against the rest of the field. He started 6th, he's running 3rd, but he has Sean Campbell, who we're running on board with, all over the back of him. Sean thought about making a move for 3rd, but he couldn't because Dave was thinking about making a move for 2nd, and there he goes.
Yep, and this pack are still really close together up at the front. It's hard to separate them, but Rob Olyanek at the moment is still leading the race, but Dave Price making a move on Bill Tyler. But as I say that, the pack behind Dave Price are making a move on him.
Yeah, Sean Campbell making it 3 wide down on the low line again. And we mentioned there are 5 seams on this racetrack. You definitely can go 3 wide around here. It's a lot easier on the straight, so than the corners. You might want to get it sorted out by then. And our leaders have so far got it sorted out. All this going on for 2nd though. Rob Olyanek probably feeling pretty comfortable out front.
Yep, absolutely. He's got a decent gap behind him. But Bill Tyler keeping in touch with him as well. But Rob Olyanek just kind of doing his thing, not doing anything too dramatic. Is right from the rear view of his car, looking back at Bill Tyler, and Dave Price again making a move on Tyler, and he's going to go on the outside, heading down to turn 1. But I think he's decided to back out of it and not take the risk too early in the race.
Now, I mentioned in the opening laps, it looked like we had a 12-car breakaway, and then the rest of the field had kind of fallen off. We've had more cars join. It's more like 14 cars now. and that is including the number 1 of Babel, who is breaking his way up into the top 10. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that number 1 car coming to the point in the not too distant future. He's actually dropped back to 14th. But last time around at the stripe, he was registered in 11th. So definitely part of this lead pack. We got a change for the lead. Dave Price is going for it.
Yeah, absolutely. He got the slipstream heading down into the first corner, and decided to make a move on Olenek, and Olenek has to run wide a little bit. I think he might have just got scared off a little bit, but again, this pack closes up really quickly, and it's so hard to separate them, and it looks like Olenek is going back to the lead by the looks of it.
And he's pinching Price down a little bit. Price will have to lift a bit more than normal just to make sure he doesn't slide up into his rival. They're coming around to complete lap 13. The lap times around this circuit are about 40 seconds. And so they're almost thinking about going 4 wide there for the lead. Here we go, the number 3 of Michel Dudagnon looking for the lead for the first time today. Dave Price gives him more than enough room down low and actually almost slides up into the high line. There's still 3 wide coming out of turn 2. Dudagnon and Price are fading back a little bit, and there we go, the high line prevailing this time around. Yeah,
it seems to be with these cars as well. Oh, is it? Oh, I thought Michel Dudagnon was going off there for a second there, but I think he just got scared off by Price. But that's the thing with these cars as well, the high line, especially around a track such as Michigan, it can pay off just because you can get that such a good run.
Again, the track temperature is very high. I don't want to get too much into the weather when we're watching great racing out here, but just bear in mind that with these old tyres and this high track temp, these drivers are going to be sliding around quite a bit. They're all having to lift and mind their P's and Q's through the corners. Oh, and there's one driver down on the apron. I think he's able to save it. That was the one of Conor Babel, who had worked his way up from the back of the field into 10th place. He had a moment coming out turn 2, slid through the infield, recovers, but he's lost a lot of track position. Let's see if he can work his way back up to the front again. Here's a replay of a moment that sent Conor to the back of this pack.
Yeah, look at the replay now, and it looks like he just lost the car. I think it was the pack in front of him just slowing up a little bit, and he got caught out, and he had to avoid an accident. But great car control from Conor to stop that car from spinning and keep going. But he's back down in 15th, but in an oval race you can be in 15th, but it's not always the worst place to be in.
Yeah, I mean, he's still a part of a lead pack, so that's a good news for him. In 16th place is Randy Hugh, and all 28 starters are still on the lead lap, although Paul Nicholson in 28th is quite a ways off the pace, it seems. He might have had a moment earlier on in the race, so only the time it was Rodney Evans who lost the connection pretty much at the start of this race. Still got a battle for the lead between the 7 of Rob Olyanek and the 13 of Dave Price. I think really the P1 position is the safest place to be in right now. If anyone behind them tangles, I think you're going to lose half of this lead pack, and it's just going to be like Thanos clicking his fingers. It's going to be completely random down to which one of them it is, which ones of them go away.
Absolutely. Yeah, it looks like we might be having another lead change heading down to the first corner. It's like Sean Campbell's starting to get involved in the action now, and well, quite a few people are getting involved in the action, but this is fantastic racing so far, Sam. They're all close together, but they're leaving each other just enough room Oh, I thought there was going to be an accident there.
Yeah, well, and there we go. Michel Dudagnon going to make it 3 wide down on the inside. He tried this once before and it didn't work out for him. Not that it resulted in an incident. He just wasn't able to get the lead, and sure enough, once again, he's fading back a little bit. In fact, he may lose third position, as coming up through the middle is the number 8 of Sean Campbell. Let's help you identify some of the leaders we have right now. The silver chrome-coloured car on the inside there leading this race is Rob Olyanek. The Lotus kind of livery up on the high side is Sean Campbell. Dave Price, is in the yellow car on the outside of Michel Dudagnon here, and Michel Dudagnon is a driver in that baby blue number 3. So those are the 4 who are definitely controlling the field right now.
Yep, as they come across the line now, and Dave Price he thinks about going for a move there in the but he just had nowhere to go. But this pack is still close together, and I don't like to say it, but there's going to be a point when these guys are so close together that something's going to have to give, and eventually it will give, and there'll be a big accident.
Yeah, well, they've been good so far. Again, I haven't done a full race distance over here, but I've got to imagine with these hard tyres that there shouldn't be too much tyre wear. I mean, the lap times we're seeing now are still in the low 40s, which isn't much higher than where they were when they started the race. So we'll see how that progresses as the race goes on, if that changes the look of the field. But these drivers normally race each other quite respectively, but they know how to do that. It's a road course. It's quite different racing respectfully at a road course and an oval, but they're doing okay so far, though that's a very close quarters there between Rob Olyanek and Sean Campbell. Sean almost gave him one at the back coming out turn 2.
Yep, Sean goes for the lead. He tries to make the move up the side, but yeah, it's trying to make the move stuck in that lower line, because you kind of, in a way, you're kind of hindering your exit. But Campbell, as I say that, he kind of hindered his exit, and Price got the run on him, and the pack behind are just basically on him like a pack of bees.
Yeah, let's give out a shout out to the number 14. Haven't really mentioned him much today, but he's in that bright yellow and blue car on the inside. We ride on board him right now. This is Lars Delson, who started 8th, is running in 6th, and he's kind of just been there, handing around towards the front. I don't think he's taken the lead yet, but a driver we might want to keep an eye on. We got one car up near the wall in turn 4, able to keep it off the wall though. I think that was the number 16 of Anti rather. By the way, Connor Babel, as you see on the time and scoring on the left-hand side of your screen, has worked his way back up into the top 10.
Yeah, and rider on board with Mick Claridge as well. Currently starting in 3rd, but currently down in 7th after having that bit of a slow moment. But I think he just decided to let the pack go looking back at the replay. So he's just kind of Mick's just watching what these guys are getting up to. He doesn't seem too eager or over eager to try and make a move at the moment. He's just more than happy to watch and see what these guys are up to.
Yeah, and things are getting a little bit dicier every single lap. Dudagnon so nearly got into the back of Rob Olyanek entering turn 3, and here we go. They're 3 wide, 2 rows deep. Oh, I think that's one of the heavier moments we've seen so far today, but they all made it through. The top 6, you could have thrown a blanket over them, and fortunately you didn't have to put them all on rollbacks yet.
Yeah, actually, I said that about Claridge, but Claridge is making moves now, and he was stuck between Bill Tyler and another car, and how that never ended up in an accident, I will never know.
Dave Price makes his move through the middle and decides to take over control of the field. I definitely think there's something to be said for leading this race, because I don't think you want to be anywhere from 3rd to 15th if something goes wrong up front here. But we're coming around to the halfway point. It's a 51 lap race. We're working lap 25 right now. I think one car just disappeared there briefly from the lead pack, but it looks like they reappeared. Not what the other competitors want to be dealing with.
Yeah, as they come across the line now, and it looks like Michel Dunion is making a move, and yeah, they're just about going 4 wide, even, I was about to say 5 wide as well, and I think these guys are pretty much decided that the gloves are off.
So that car blinking quite a lot at the back is Topi Kortenemi, so I think that's why he's kind of just dropped to the back of his lead pack. Hopefully that'll clear up and they'll be able to keep racing, but so well wishes for Topi there that gets sorted. Oh, Michel Dudagnon really threw it in.
Oh, I thought I was going to end up in a big accident there, but Michel Dudagnon, credit to you, mate, for holding that, because that was I thought I was going to end up in disaster and a big wreck, but again they all managed to survive, and they're all getting close together headed into turn 1.
Yeah, I think these drivers are all aware it's the second half of a race. We still have quite a long ways to go, though. It's taken us 17.5 minutes to get to this point. So it's still a 15-minute race. I definitely understand the sprint race mentality here. Oh, we've got one car down on the apron, sliding up. They all got through okay. I think another thing that might be contributing to this letting it all hang out approach that I think a few of these drivers are taking, Ryan, is the fact that, you know, these drivers do get drop weeks. This is a 29-car single split. The I rating is a little bit, you know, the strength of field is a little bit lower than normal because these drivers don't have as good as an oval rating as what they do over on the road course side. So they realize in order to get the points, in order for this to not be a drop week, they need to finish really up towards the front.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those, it's something I forgot to mention at the start of the broadcast as well. It's one of those races that some of these drivers will probably want to try and do well in as much as possible and try and take as many points as possible. But again, they come across the line now, they're going about 3 wide, just about 4 wide as well, and Mick Claridge getting a bit sketchy as well. So I said that Mick Claridge is holding back, but not anymore. He's just decided to try and basically go for it.
We had our first crash of a race last lap around. The number 11 of Bruce Nelson had contact with another car going down the back straight, and he had to tow to the pits. So that's an unfortunate end to the race for Bruce. No free repairs in this series. So down to 27 cars left in the race, 15 in the lead pack and 3 fighting for the lead. 4 fighting for the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Campbell, Claridge, Olenek, we've got Dudion as well, and yeah, the names that you normally see at the top of the results most of the time are absolutely going at it. And I think these guys have pretty much figured out. We've got about 20, just about 20 laps remaining in this race, and these guys have decided that now is the time to go for it.
It's Rob Olyanek who's really been in control of the field all race long. But I wouldn't be surprised if a picture changes in the closing laps if we still have a... Ooh, there wasn't anywhere to go down on the low line there. In the closing laps, I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see different names towards the front as drivers who may just be hanging around at the back now start to get a little bit more ambitious. I think right now the drivers up front are just the drivers who want to ride up front.
Yeah, absolutely. As still, like you say, Olynek's pretty much been leading this race, most of this race so far. But the current champion, Mick Claridge, is making moves up into the top 3. But as they come up to the line now, this is when you'll see the slipstream come into effect again. And I think Mick Claridge has got the run on Olenek, but I don't think he's got anywhere to go. So he's pretty much just got to stay where he is for the moment.
I think our viewers can understand why we've been keeping our eye on this lead pack for pretty much all of the race. There is another pack from a second pack from like 16th to 19th, and then a third pack behind that from 20th pretty much through the rest of a field of 26, 27 cars. But this is the biggest pack, and of course this is the one that matters the most because the driver who ends up at the front of this pack at the end of this race is probably going to walk home with the trophy. And right now it's Rob Olyanek who's sitting in the position that everyone else wants, or at least will want, in 19 laps time.
Yep, and look at this, the current champion, Mick Claridge, he went for a move, he had the run on Olenek, but I think he decided at the last second against making a move, because I think he could sense that if he went for the move and got it wrong. Oh, someone in the wall!
That's the one car. Oh, and he collides with another on the apron, but I think he got away with it. Hopefully, Babel is the only one taken out of this.
Yeah, it was Connor Babel. He just tagged the wall in the exit of turn 1 and unfortunately tagged another car by the looks of it, and he's unfortunately retired from the race. As the GSR replay is on screen now.
There was Dave Price, I believe. Dave Price in the 13 who he collides with on the apron, but I can tell you watching the cars go around on the circuit live. Oh, no, sorry, that's a blue car. But Dave Price, I think, that is carrying damage from something else then.
Yeah, I think Babel might have tagged Dave Price ever so slightly, but back up at the front, this battle for the lead is still going on, and well, I was going to say surprise, but not a surprise really, as Mick Claridge up at the front in the lead.
Yeah, so Babel is the only one we've lost from the lead pack. We've still got 14 cars here. Now, the top 3 have broken away, but I think that's going to be only temporary because we've seen everyone else able to run a car down from a second or so back earlier on in the event. Michel Dudignon turns the fastest lap of the race. There might be a bit of lap traffic in the form of Paul Nicholson coming up in a not too distant future, so hopefully Paul will get out of the way of this pack, and there he is down on the apron as the leaders go by.
Yep, and still Clara's leading the race. Ulrich's not too far behind in second, and Campbell having a great race in third, and also Dave Price, considering he got tagged ever so slightly, he's still managing to do well up there in the 4th place.
Chris Murakami turns the fastest lap of the race. Haven't really mentioned him, but he's been part of this lead pack. He crossed the line in 7th position last time around. As Mick Claridge and Rob Olyanek continue to dice for the top position. Riding on board with Chris here as he comes out of turn 4. Across the line, 15 laps left to go.
Yep, riding on board with Murakami as he came up across the line, and Mick Claridge still leading the race, but I think Campbell was maybe trying to make a move, but he just had nowhere to go. But still, Claridge leading the race. Olyanek second, Campbell third, and this lead pack, considering basically how far we're into the race now, this lead pack is still big, and they're still really close together.
There is, of course, a chance, and probably a great one at that all of these cars could wipe out by the end. But if they do not, we're going to have an incredible finish. I think we could be 4 wide at the line, because you can see, even coming out of turn 4 there, the car in 3rd or 4th position is side by side with the leader by the time they get to the stripe.
Absolutely, and that's what I was talking about with the slipstream as well. In these oval races of these cars, the slipstream can play a major factor. You could be in 4th or 5th, for example, and by the end of the lap, you could be up in the front. That's just how much of a factor the slipstream plays in these races.
Oh, that almost got very ugly there. Mick Claridge came. Oh, and we got trouble at the back of this pack. One car flipping. And there was Laus Dolson, who's rolling up and over. Unfortunately, the track is able to get clear by the time the second pack comes around. Here's a replay.
Yeah, so it looks like everyone's really close together, and I think looking at the replay, I don't know if maybe people have been getting caught up or just slowed up a little bit. But it looks like Laus just got tagged from a Ante, and they got collected by another car. So it was so unfortunate for Laus Dolson, because he was having a great racer. But the nature of these oval races, that you can be having a good race, but something out of your hands can happen.
Surviving cars as they come across the line. For anyone impressed by the graphics of sim racing who may not have seen this before, don't worry, this is virtual racing and no one was injured in any of the incidents. We don't think, unless you have a force feedback turned up really high, then we can't make any promises there.
Yeah, as just looking back up at the front as well, and Ovi Trengway, he came back after his issues in the early stage of the race. He's up into 4th place at the moment in contention for the win. So a great recovery drive from Ovi Trengway, and he could be in the pro. Oh, I thought Mick Claridge moves over to cover his line in his territory, and I thought he was going to wipe out Ovi.
Yeah, I think you're right here in that Ove Trandre is really the only one in the top 5 right here who hasn't really stuck his nose out up front yet, but he's here when it matters. We've still got 12 cars left in this lead pack. It's thinned out a little bit, you know, we had 15 cars at one point. They're all spread out a little bit right now because the cars at the back of the pack are still recovering from the incident we had a few laps ago. I think we've still got a great race on our hands here with 10 laps left to go.
Yep, as they come across the line now, and it looks like the number 7 car of Rob Olyanek is trying to make a move to retake the lead, but Mick Claridge with that high line, he manages just to keep up the momentum as they come so close to making the wheel-to-wheel contact, but Mick Claridge gets a great run on the high line and manages to retake the lead.
Coming out of turn 4, Randy Hugh, who had been running in 16th place, has spun. Hopefully he'll be able to keep out of the way of the leaders here. As you say, Mick Claridge is holding on a pretty nice lead. We're watching the battle for third and mini pit in the tight frame there, but Mick Claridge actually has a few car lengths over the pack.
Yeah, and the pack behind him are squabbling away as well, and in the background as well, I couldn't see what car it was, but someone just tagged the wall ever so slightly coming across the line, but the man still manages to keep going as this battle for second place is going on between Rob Olnick and Dave Price, and yep, the pack's still getting really close together, and yeah, it's so hard to predict who's going to win this race. I wouldn't want to be a betting man at the moment.
Yeah, but even though Mick Claridge was pulled away, I can only imagine this was temporary. If he'd had this pace all along, he should have just taken the lead at the start of a race and ran away with it. I think it's just because second and third have been battling that he's been able to create a bit of a break. And sure enough, as they get back towards turn 1, everyone's back on his gearbox.
Yep, as Claridge is still leading the race from Olnick, and yeah, we've got 8 laps to go, so yeah, not too long left in this race, and I think at this point of the race, all of these drivers are pretty much through the Corsa supports out the window and pretty much getting the elbows out now, as Mick Claridge is still leading the race, but Dave Price trying to use that high line to the advantage and try and carry the momentum and try and get a run across the start-finish line, but at the moment he's really not got anywhere to go, as it looks like Olnick is trying to make a move heading down to turn 1 in the inside, but Claridge, we've seen from the use of the high line, he's able to carry the speed and carry the momentum.
There was another incident further back on the back straight. Robert Plumley had to spin, and I think a couple other cars were involved, but it should all be cleared up by the time the leaders get here. It's one nice thing about Michigan, there's a massive apron. Even if cautions were turned on, there wouldn't be that many, because many of the crash cars today have just gone down there, and iRacing doesn't seem to care about that, and we thank them for it, because it keeps it green, keeps us racing. 6 laps left to go. Mick Claridge leading for 3, 2, 1, and now Rob Olnick is leading.
Yep, across the line to go, and Olnick to the lead, but I think will Claridge try and use that high line again? It looks like he's trying to, yeah, it looks like by the looks of it he's using that high line again, trying to carry the momentum, but Rob Olnick making the low line work and managing to just stay ahead for the moment.
Oh, one car opting to go down to the apron there. I guess he says, nope, this is getting a little bit too hairy up here, I'll take my chances back here. That was the 10 car of Colin Bentley, who opted to fade back a little bit.
Yep, sorry, son.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't blame them too much, considering we've got 2 rows of 3 wide action, less than 5 laps to go. You can understand why these drivers are doing this now. How wide? I really want this to stay green, because I'm very curious about how many cars we can get side by side at the stripe.
Yeah, me too. I was about to say that they're just about to go 3 wide, even 4 wide behind, and Mick Claridge still leading the race, and yeah, these guys are getting real close now, and I'm not going to deny any time these drivers get close when they go 3 wide, even like the slightest inches away from banging wheels, I do flinch a little bit.
2 names who we have mentioned occasionally, but I just want to give them a shout out. Bill Tyler, the number 17, our pole sitter. He hasn't led this race since the start, but he's still hanging out there. The number 2 car, there's a very bright red and white car I've seen making some hairy moves from time to time. That's the number 2 of Chris Murakami, so I want to keep an eye on him in the closing laps. Right now, it's Mick Claridge and Sean Campbell out front. Rob Olnick, who I think is going to have the most laps led out of this race, is hanging on in 3rd place and definitely a threat for the win. They're coming to the stripe. 3 laps left to go when they cross the line, and almost contact between the 6 and the 7 of Claridge, and Olnick trying to find his way through the middle. The number 13 of Dave Price is definitely still in this too. Oh! There we go. That's Claridge. Sideways saves it.
Oh, that was a great save by Mick Claridge, man. Oh, I have no words for that, Sam.
Yeah, well, the top 12 could still wipe out. Mick Claridge could win this, given the luck we've seen him have earlier this season. It's going to be tough, though. As Sean Campbell has the track to himself right now, but it's definitely not over. 2 laps left to go, 4 miles left to decide this.
Yeah, as they come across now, and it's Campbell in the lead at the moment. Tyler to second.
Oh, hard into the wall. 2 cars. The lead does continue, but Ove Trantre is one of them. You can see on time in the scoring, and Olsen is the other one.
Yeah, as I was saying, that Tyler to second, and Olenek was in third, but Dave Price has took third, but Olenek is trying to take that position back. And we've got the number 2 car of Chris Murakami getting involved in the action as well with Michel Dunion, and so you've got 2 laps left remaining in this race. But as they come across the line, it will be the final lap in this race, and who's going to win the race? Well, I don't know.
Well, right now, Sean Campbell does have a gap over the rest of the field. They really need to sort out this battle for second that they're having, because if they keep scrobbling over that, Sean Campbell is just going to pull away further. But Sean is very loose out of the final corner. He almost threw away the lead all on his own. Bill Tyler is now there in second place in the white and blue car. The yellow car on the low side. That's the 13 of Dave Price. Bill Tyler almost gives Sean Campbell one up the back. Dave Price throws it into turn 3. He's going to hold the lead temporarily, but the drivers up high get a much better run through the turn. That's Michel Dudignon down there in the baby blue car, but Sean Campbell gets around out of the corner. It's going to be very close to the stripe, but Campbell's going to have the advantage. Sean Campbell wins by less than 0.02 of a second.
Wow, what a finish. That was absolutely fantastic stuff. Everyone close together, just enough room, gave each other respect. And it looks like we're going to take a look at the replay as well of that final lap. Sam, what a finish.
Yeah, Sean Campbell almost threw it all away, all on his own, coming out of turn 2, but he was able to use the momentum up on the high side, and there we go. It's 0.02 of a second over Bill Tyler, who came home in second place. Top 4 covered by a 10th. That includes Dave Price in 3rd place and Michel Dudignon in 4th. Well, definitely the thrilling finish of what we were hoping for and expecting here at Michigan. Had some drivers fall by the wayside. All in all, 10 cars came home in that lead pack, 20 cars on the lead lap. Sean Campbell pacing all of them. We'll have a chance to talk to some of the drivers, and we'll give you a full race rundown when we come back. Rubbing salt in the wound, Topi Cortonemi just mentioned in the driver chat. Well, that's 2 races that Mick Claridge hasn't won. Mick got on the radio. I didn't hear what he said, but I think it was probably something along the lines of, hey, I still beat you. But no one beats Sean Campbell today. He comes home the winner today of round number 9 of the Grand Prix Legends Series here at Michigan by 18 thousandths of a second over Bill Tyler. Dave Price completed the 3-wide finish at the stripe in 3rd position. Michelle Dudon on 4th place, less than a 10th back of a winner. Rob Olyanek came home in 5th position ahead of Chris Murakami in 6th. Mick Claridge made it back up to 7th after his hairy moment with a couple of laps left to go. The aforementioned Topi Cortonemi finished in 8th place. 9th place was Emmanuel Pereira, and Colin Bentley rounded out the 10 cars and also the 10 cars who win the lead pack by the time the checkered flew.
Yeah, finishing in 11th was Hayden Carter after starting in 23rd, so a great drive by him. Antti Kerinen finishes in 12th, with 13th going to Robert Reynolds, who started in 29th and finished in 13th, so a great effort from him. 14th was Gary Teal with Roland Wallbank. 15th, Eugenio Massa. 16th, 17th was Matthew Maudsley. 18th was Kyle Graham, Dave Cohen in 19th, and finishing in 20th was Robert Plumley.
Yeah, and here are the drivers who weren't able to make it to the end. We weren't able to see all of our incidents because there was so much action going on up front all race long. We saw Ove and John, though. They tangled with a couple of laps left to go while racing in the lead pack. Paul Nicholson also just a couple of laps down. Randy Hugh had a moment halfway through the race. He'd been running in about 16th place. Lars Stelson, I think he disappeared from the lead pack. John Sheehan down there in 26th. We saw what happened to Conor Babel. He was running towards the front when that happened. Bruce Nelson was our first DNF, and Rodney Evans had connection issues very early on. Looks like this is Mick Claridge we've got. Hello. Have you got a copy?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can. Well, that was definitely fun.
Yeah, it was a good laugh, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can't imagine you were too pleased, though, with how the final few laps panned out, with you coming home in 7th position. It looks like a number 1, but it's got a little stalk that kind of turns it into a 7.
Yeah, it's pretty close to number 1, yeah. Yeah, not as close as I wanted it to be. Yeah, that was weird when I lost the back end then after hitting Rob. I just couldn't believe how many cars went past. I thought there was about 4 or 5 of us in the lead group there, not sort of 15 or 16.
Yeah, it was about a 15-car pack up front all race long. We noticed very early on you opted, while you and Rob Olyanek were kind of trading for the lead, you opted to drop to the back of a pack. I'm assuming that was a strategic decision. When did you know you had to make a move to try and get back up towards the front?
Well, that's exactly what it was. I dropped back because I just didn't want to be in the front pack for a while and just sort of stay in touch with him, you know. And then I sort of thought to myself, because I've had a few races and every time you're in the lead pack, I've either taken someone out or someone's taken me out or whatever, or there's been a coming together, you know. So I thought it might happen, you know, because people want to get in front and do stuff up in front of lead and all in the lead. And I just sort of thought to myself, I don't think it's going to happen this race. You know, everyone sort of seems to be driving really well and calm and sort of taking it easy. So I thought, you know, I better start making a move because I'm not really sure, you know, how people are going to sort of, you know, run into the corners. You know, it's pretty tough when guys are too wide and they sort of know how to stop you getting the run, you know. We've got a lot of good oval drivers in this series that normally run with us all the time, you know, so you can't mess around, you know. So, yeah, I did want to get up the front again. But, yeah, I really didn't want to be down low. I don't even know why I went down low there for the end of it. The car was horrendous down low. Just can't get off the corners. So that was the reason why I sort of went into that turn 1 a little bit wider than I should have been, really, when me and Rob touched. So just to get a decent run out the corner, you know, I knew there was no chance of me slowing down and then trying to go around the outside of him. There was not enough time, you know, and it was just, you know, getting to the point where you have to, you know, be in front. So yeah, not really good position there, being down low.
On the final lap, it was Sean Campbell who took a white flag. He also took a checkered. Was that your plan or your hope, if that hadn't happened, that you would be on the lead coming to the white? Or did you want to be in second or third or fourth?
Well, I wanted to be in the middle or up high, you know, on the last sort of couple of laps. I mean, I was really good on the entries to the corners, both corners. It looked like I was a bit faster than pretty much all the cars around me, you know, in any point in the race, you know, just going into the corners. And I would have been able to just sort of, I think, you know, unless the guy's got a good run out the back, you know, onto the last corner, onto the last straight, sorry, I think I might have held it, you know, just by being able to dive into the corners pretty well. So that was the plan, mate. Yeah, just try and be up front, you know, in the last couple of laps and see if I can hold it up high.
How would you say this is ranked against other oval tracks that we've raced here in Lotus 49? Was it one of your favourites?
Yeah, this one's really good. Pocono's really good as well. I like them better than Indy. Indy's pretty good, but it's a little bit tougher to pass there. Normally gets a bit sketchy there, but the main point is just keep the cautions turned off, you know. The last thing you want is cautions, you know, in this series, you know. So that's mainly I mean, we've only tried, I think we tried Daytona once as well. That didn't really work. But yeah, Michigan and Pocono, I suppose, are my favourite. Pocono gets the edge, I think.
All right. Well, Mick, you've still won every single road course race that you finished throughout the season. So we'll see if you can continue that specific streak next time out at Hockenheim.
You're just going to say anything to be able to say that I've won every race.
It's how we market these races.
Brilliant. I like it, mate.
All right. That was your 7th place finisher here today, Mick Claridge. All right. Well, time to wrap up the broadcast, but I think I want to get your final thoughts, Ryan, on today's race and also heading into next race at Hockenheim.
I have to say that was a fantastic race, and it was a great race, close pack racing. The drivers left just enough room. Then it's like you say. We said during the break, Sam, that the drivers are race with respect, and I think that's the thing that makes the series so popular, because everyone helps each other, and the community is great as well. And looking ahead to Hockenheim as well, it's a new track. Especially for this car, which has never raced there, so I'll be interested to see what it's like next week. But I'm looking forward to it, and after doing some laps around Hockenheim during the week offline, I have to say it's a fantastic track, and it should be a good one.
Yeah, and I know there's some traditionalists out there like myself who would love to see them have the old Hockenheim win on iRacing, the one that went off into the trees and, was just flat out all about engine power. That being said, they're not doing the GP configuration of Hockenheim next week. They're going to do the outer configuration. Basically, what that means is some of turns and chicanes and the twists that we're used to seeing in the GP configuration kind of get cut out. So it will be very interesting to see how that all goes down. We would like to thank all of the organisers and the competitors in the Grand Prix Legends for coming out this morning and putting on a fantastic show. Additional thanks goes out to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcasts, and you can see those listed on your screen. Also thanks to June Lalonde, who provides us with our music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. Thanks to the team today, Ryan, Sean and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, or you can check us out on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, or Instagram at GSRC_Gram. Join us live again, this time next week, for round number 10 of Grand Prix Legends, and as we mentioned, that'll be at Hockenheim. All of our upcoming races for our other series, including more races today, are listed on your screen, so be sure to check those out. Mark them down on your calendar and don't miss another second of exciting racing action. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.